Hey guys, this is Camfrey15, and join.
Ah, shit. Okay, go on.
I don't think that's good with the times going on right now, but okay.
Good one.
Um, anyways, again, I'm Camfrey15, joined by TheRedWolf, my friend Denzel, for another SAO review for you guys. And we'll both say thank you for the positive feedback on the last video.
Yeah, especially that one guy. I think you know who I'm talking to. You deserve a cookie.
Yeah, thanks for the positive feedback. I just did this because we decided to do that. And typically, with any anime I watch brand new, I end up reviewing it. So, anyways, we're here to review SAO season 2, coming off. I guess you can say obviously a successful season 1 because it got a season 2. And essentially, this is where things get darker and kind of sad. Mostly the first half is kind of dark, and then the second half is kind of just emotionally sad. But season 2, I did hear not a lot of people, well, some people are not fans of it, whilst there are some people that like season 2. um I'll give my thoughts at the end of the video, but we're here to talk about season 2. Essentially, a summary of season 2 is in the first half. That government guy comes back to Kirito because apparently there's a guy by the name of Def Gun doing in-game killing, and they don't know how people are dying in real life because of it. And Kirito has to go into GGO to see what's behind the killings and what's behind Def Gun. Back half of the season, it kind of deals with something about like 2 episodes regarding the Excalibur thing, which I still
We'll get to that later.
yeah, and then the last part was really an Asuna dedicated, storyline with Yuki and that emotional stuff. But mostly probably the best thing of this season was probably the GGO arc or the Death Gun arc. And like I said, and sorry for that interruption. My goodness. Um, anyways, like I said, obviously, things are obviously now happy. Things are great. Kirito's got his girlfriend, he's got his friends, and they're just playing in the new Alpine online. And then, next thing you know, we cut to what's going on in the newest online game, our virtual reality game is GGO. And,
AKA,
huh?
AKA Gun Gale Online.
And we see this masked figure, and he just points his gun and shoots it at the screen at this like live stream, and it connects. And a few minutes later, we find out that character in real life actually died. So obviously it was something going on, and it was crazy. Now, you know, obviously Kirito, he's not paying no mind to this. He's just in his world because he's just happy. He's just enjoying life and everything. Then the second episode really dedicates, you know, an episode to the newest the main character in this arc, the other main character in this arc. And honestly, one of my favorite characters, Sinon. Denzel, can talk about Sinon.
She has quite an interesting character because she had like a pretty complicated childhood ever since like she was just going with her mom at a bank, and then all of a sudden a robbery. And and during that process, she was the one who shot down the robber, which haunted her up to this day. I don't really. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and essentially her thing is when she gets back to the real world, she gets bullied by like these 3 girls and stuff like that throughout the season, which the first part, the girls were listen, those were some mean ass girls, man. Like they were legit like the one, especially the one chick in the who was the leader of the party. All she does is point out like, the gun sign, and I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, and Sinon starts to have like a bit of a trauma, like ever since someone does that to her. or if she does that herself.
Yeah, we later find out that she's kind of traumatized by seeing any gun signs or even holding a gun because like even later when she's in her I guess her own little apartment, she has like, a gun in her little drawer. She pulls it out and she can't even touch it without throwing up and stuff like that. Now obviously, as you saw in the episode, she was able to wrap it up in a cloth and pick it up, but she can't physically touch it in the real world. And the reason behind, her doing, Gun Gale online, which you probably asked the question, well then why is she playing a game with guns if she cannot, or she's traumatized by guns? She explains that she wants to do the game to, I guess, quell and beat the fear of using a gun. And the one way to do it is do the BOB, the Battle of,
No, it's called the Bullet of Bullets.
oh, the BOB, Bullet of the Bullets, which is essentially a battle royale tournament, like a Fortnite type of thing, just your one-on-one. And she wants to win the tournament, so because she feels like it will, get that fear from her touching guns away. She does have emotional moments here and there, and I really do like her character. By the time at the start, I was like, I don't know about her. She's kind of, just a girl that's assisting Kirito through his little journey. And then, by the time, she gets to the point where they actually team up and they fight Def Gun, to the point she almost actually physically dies because Def Gun, as you see later in the season, actually does target her. You see that fear come into the game, and essentially Kirito has to kind of fight his demons along with those things. And I guess Denzel can talk about Kirito's demons in this season as well.
Oh yeah, that's when Kirito and Sinon can actually relate to each other because, as you know, in SAO, Kirito killed 3 people, if I remember correct. Yeah, 2 which was never shown in season 1, and one other.
The one guy who almost killed him in season 1 from episode 10.
Mm-hmm. Cordial. Yeah, so yeah, that he can relate to Sinon in many ways. Only yeah, he's doing the same thing that she is. He's trying to like seek, I don't know, find peace. I guess you can say.
Yeah, essentially, if anything, season two really focuses on the story and the characters more than the action and the combat as the first season did, and I think that's what people were upset a little bit about season one. Not only the fact that it didn't translate, some things didn't translate to the light novel, but I guess the fact that they just showed all this action. At the same time, you can look back at season one. Well, it's like you got to find a way to get people invested in the show. You can have your hardcores, but you also got to have your casuals. And it seems like here the casuals are kind of turned off because they didn't focus morely on the action. It didn't bother me as much. I like getting story focus, and the characters, like I said, were a main focus on this thing going on. We have that one emotional episode where Kirito, he just is dealing with his inner demons, and Asuna and Sugu can tell that something's off with him, but he's not talking or anything. And even that, we get that one emotional scene when he talks to the nurse about how he feels about killing those players. And the nurse actually was like, well, you had to do that for a good reason, obviously. And I know you're not like that. And then Kirito later comes to realize that he tried to actually just forget things that happened in the past instead of just straight up accept him. He kind of teaches that to Sinon when they're in that little cave that, sometimes you just can't run away from what you do. You got to face it head on. It's a real life element. Sometimes you have these fears that you have to do, but like say, for example, I know this is not like, to what they're relating to, but like say this, you're afraid of presenting in front of like a huge number of people. You're going to have to do it. So you're going to have to face your fears. You just can't run away from it. So it was interesting how they tied that dynamic of the storyline with Kirito's little inner demons with Sinon's demons and stuff like that. So it was an interesting approach. I will say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. should we talk about how Kirito and Sinon first met?
Yeah. So essentially, obviously, Kirito, he's in game for the first time, and one, these people. First things first, he has the other players actually like legit hitting on him because they think he's a girl, or his character looks somewhat like a girl character, and it's funny because throughout him and Sinon's meeting, Sinon thinks she's talking to another girl player.
Yeah, all because of Kirito's acting.
Yes. It was hilarious. It was hilarious for the most part.
We shall remember this moment. Hope you all root for me.
Don't. Oh my goodness. I feel like he got that directly from Asuna, but um, who knows? Who knows? So anyways, they have like a funny relationship. Like it's just a back and forth thing, especially when Sinon finds the truth that he's he's a legit dude, because when they're changing, Kirito's obviously like all flustered because it's like, I'm seeing a girl change, that's not my girlfriend. And Sinon's like, yo, what's your problem? And she's like, well, and Kirito's like, well, you see,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is who I am.
And then that kind of upsets,
Yeah.
Sinon for a majority of the start, to the point she just really wants to beat him. And you can see that all she has, even in the real world, that's all she's thinking about. Kirito, how much I want to kill this guy and stuff like that. Now, Sinon does have a little friend companion in this who I guess you can say has feelings for her, because he was like, come on, I want to just be with you and everything and stuff like that. And Denzel.
Yeah. Like those two were close, but in a way, he's kind of forcing his ideals onto Sinon. Like he thinks she is someone that she isn't, and and he wants to push her to be that someone, like when she doesn't really want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, what Denzel is talking about, if you haven't seen SAO 2, one, spoilers, you shouldn't even be watching this video right now if you haven't seen the full season, or at least the first half of season 2. But obviously, as you guys know, Kirito deducts and finds out that because he has an interaction with Def Gun, and he sees on his wrist that Def Gun is a former SAO player who was in the Laughing Coughing Guild. Which, if you don't remember, Laughing Coughing, like I said in the first SAO review, is just a guild, a bunch of first-degree murderers. They just kill people to kill people. And the funny thing is, essentially, those demons are still haunting Kirito because, and Kirito has to find out who this guy, Def Gun, really is. And we later find out he was essentially in, like Denzel said earlier, this undisclosed battle that happened in season one that they don't show. It's an off-screen thing, where Kirito, Asuna, Klein were there, and they had a play. They met up at some Laughing Coughing like little headquarters, and they took them all out, essentially. And essentially, Kirito was deducting who is the real Def Gun. I forgot the guy's name, but we later find out it's a Laughing Coughing member.
Yeah, his name is Red-Eyed Zaza. 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 Zaza.
Mm-hmm. You can go on talking about the plot about Def Gun and all that stuff.
Where do I start? Like when Kirito like first met him, or when they first start battling?
No, I would say when he finds out the plans and how they're killing people.
Oh yeah, for how Death Gun is killing people in game, he has a partner in the real world. So yeah, he injects that famous poison, which you'll later find in season 3 too. And they would just inject into that someone, and that drug will eventually, like, I guess, stop their hearts.
Yeah, they explain it's like a drug that just paralyzes the host, and then it just magically stops their heart like that, and they end up dying. It's like, oh, well, one. Now, it's later explained that the two people who are doing it, Def Gun and the main guy, who we later find out was Sinon's friend, they were legit brothers. And the reason why they're able, and if you're probably asking, like, how the heck do they even get a hold of things like that at their age? We later find out that their father is like a doctor, essentially, and they kind of stole their dad's work. And they had like this little shot thing that, like Denzel says, because, obviously Kirito deducts, well, Def Gun can't in game kill people because you can't in game kill people like you used to in SAO. And then that's when he's like, wait, there's a total another person, which ties into a whole other thing because the other thing because the base game essentially, when you like sign up, I think for the tournament, you have to put in your real life credentials, which funny thing is, that's even today, people talk about privacy and everything. I had a whole college class referring to like privacy, putting things on social media like your real life, identity and your addresses and stuff like that. I had a legit class saying like, should you even be able to have that stuff out there because it doesn't matter because the government can track your phone anyways and know what you're doing anyways. So obviously that's not private anyways. Anyways, we find out that that's the reason why, because Kirito at one point he goes to this booth to sign up, and he sees that they have to put in their real life credentials and where they actually live, which is really sus. And with that happening, Def Gun is able to access that stuff, find the people where they really live at, get the person he's working with to go to their actual legit house, which you would think doors would have much more security, but apparently it's like a thing where it's like there's like this coded door which they like hack into. They're able to get into your house, and then boom, end you right there when obviously Def Gun's looking at his watch, which is the timer in the real world, and that's how they exactly kill people at the same time. And they also do a little, I guess, ritual before they die. It when I heard all this, I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, that is pretty diabolical and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. You know, eh, like I said, one, you would think you'd have more security breaking in. Obviously, you know, it's about the point is like even Sinon when they explain the whole thing to Sinon, and Sinon's like, wait a second, that means the person's at my house like right now,
Yeah, cause she locked the door except for the chain.
except for the chain part. But I even think if the dude he could have probably broke the chain anyways,
Mm-hmm.
in real, unless it's like a freaking bulleted door.
Maybe.
Um, but
Wait, can he? I mean, he's technically just a kid.
well, trust me, you can have people kick doors open with chains on and probably break the chains if you're strong enough. But who knows? Who knows? So yeah, essentially what happens is throughout the tournament, Kirito and Sinon, they come to a realization that they have to work together to defeat Def Gun because they can't defeat Def Gun on their own. Otherwise, they will both die. Um, and essentially they go through the thing. Sinon has, like I said earlier in the video, she has her little demons come up to the point she gets afraid because Def Gun literally to a point almost holds the gun to her face where she's about to die. If it wasn't for Kirito showing up at like the last second, you know, honestly by luck, if you ask me, she would have been dead. And it brings her fears into the game to the point she can't even shoot her sniper rifle. But then Kirito kind of, reassures her, and then they come up with a plan. They defeat Def Gun, and then when they finally log out, the one dude who we think is her friend, which I should have seen coming, he kind of knocks on the door to check on her, and he's like, "It's me. You can trust me." Next thing you know, again, we kind of get a little it's definitely toned down from season 1, part 2 with the Asuna Sugo stuff, but this was still pretty crazy because the dude was kind of touching up all on her and stuff like that. And so it's not as how I would say, intense in terms of what they show here. But, you can obviously feel the, like the intensity and the urgency. Like, whoa, 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 whoa. Kirito said he was going to call the cops. Where are the cops? And essentially come to the point where she finally she breaks away, but you know, she locks the door, and it's
Unlock the
one
door.
time for her to lock the door. Unlock the door. And obviously, I okay. Now listen, I should judge this, and I shouldn't pick at this, but listen, if we're being
Wait.
real, that probably would happen to any other person trying to unlock a door frantically, because you're trying to get out of there for your life. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so luckily, Kirito comes in the clutch. He pulls what he did, obviously, for Asuna, this time for Sinon, and he kind of saves her. And he almost gets himself freaking killed. And it looked like he almost
He almost got
wasn't
killed.
for like some kind of electrode thing he got from the hospital when he was doing the GGO stuff, which sucks that spoilers, it didn't turn out to help him in season 3 whatsoever.
Well, that's because the nurse accidentally left it on him, like when he logged out. He,
Mm-hmm.
I guess he meant to take it off, but she didn't. But
Yeah.
thank God she didn't.
That happens. Sinon actually knocks him out with her whole like freaking recording, her boombox thing. Like I'm like, Jesus, how did you not split his head open? But Kirito's all right, thanks to the thing that saved him. And yeah, and that's really it. Now, the conclusion, obviously, Denzel wants to talk to the conclusion to Sinon's story arc.
Oh yeah, it's like so yeah, like later, like they speak to Kikuoka and stuff about the two brothers, like one that was in a laughing coffin, and of course that guy who almost har- harassed Sinon. Um, yeah, they talk to him, and then later Kirito takes Sinon to meet Asuna and Liz.
Asuna, yeah, Asuna and Liz, and they're in Augil's shop. You can go on with what you were saying.
Yeah, and they
Hold on a second, buddy. I'll pause the video. Sorry, guys, for a quick second. Stop. Again, sorry for that, guys. I have a life too. I have to get to, but go back to what you were saying, Denzel, when I rudely interrupted you.
so yeah, they, Sinon meets Asuna and Liz. Kirito introduces them, and they pretty much find out all about, I guess, Sinon's backstory. Sinon I don't know, kind of distrusts Kirito a bit after that, but then she meets up with a certain woman from her past, which was that banker woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she talks to Sinon, like how she was pregnant back then, and how like, and explains how Sinon actually saved her back then, because she was pregnant with her daughter, who is now, like, I guess 2 years old or 3 years old.
Um, Looked like she was like 4, 5 years old.
Yeah, yeah, and explains how grateful she is, and then Kirito tells her that I know you've been suffering a lot from your past, but you should also think about the people who you saved too, like, and stuff.
And then
And then
you go ahead.
and then the little girl, like, also walks up to her and gives her a drawing, saying how thankful she is too.
Mm-hmm. And that was an emotional moment. That really was. It was a heart-touching emotional moment, which essentially closed up the Sinon storyline because now she definitely can move on and stuff like that in her life. And that's when she officially joins Kirito's group of friends as well. So it was a good overall arc. Now going back to the government guy, we do find out that there was actually a third guy in the Def Gun little party thing. um, I'll just say, keep that open mind for next season. Um, but other than that, yeah, that's really it for the first half of season 1. And yeah, through and through that entire arc too, Asuna and the others actually did do what Kirito's doing, and essentially they kind of they tell the government guy, and the government guy goes to them in their game, and it's like, yeah, he's doing this. So they do know that Kirito was in GGO. Again, it shows the shady nature because even the characters in that moment hint at the fact like I don't know if we can trust this guy. So again, it's doing more hintings of the fact you can't trust this government guy who's using Kirito for his own plots, which we won't talk about till ordinal scale. But yeah,
Hmm.
we're okay. So we're gonna talk about the back half of the season. The first two episodes of the back half of the season, kind of, I guess you would say, are indirectly filler. Um,
Yeah, pretty much.
looking back at it now, it's kind of just filler. All I can say is, there was these people attacking these jelly elephant fusion things, and
Also,
essentially this one NPC is telling them, yeah, go stop this before they overrun this part of the game, and then they get into your area of the game and they take over the world. I don't even know. It was confusing. Essentially, they have to go into this dungeon. Klein runs into this one girl. I forgot her, Freya. Not Freya from Is It Not Wrong to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon, who's for some reason has a fetish for Belle. Um,
okay, go on.
I'll just say this, Denzel. She's kind of like the overarching villain
Hmm.
for Daimachi whenever you decide to watch it. But yeah, Klein essentially falls for her and stuff like that. They do think it's a trap. I did find it funny because they're like, it's a trap, it's a trap, it's a all of them were like, it's a trap. Um, but we later come to find out it probably actually was a good idea to bring her along because she eventually transforms into Thor. And no, not the Thor from Marvel Cinematic Universe Thor, even though he has his hammer called Mjolnir and stuff like that. But it's just
different universe, different. I guess I don't know.
he's one of the Greek or Roman gods or whatever. You know, that old stuff in Greek mythology or Roman mythology. With his help, they're able to beat the one dude, and they're able to save the day, and there will be no issues. Everybody's in all the jellyfish elephant fusions are all alive and everything. It was just its own little filler spinoff. I guess it bridges the gap and I guess makes things less serious.
I did low key fall asleep on that part. Low key.
Honestly, to say that you could actually, if you're actually watching SAO 2, to say that you could have actually watched that part and skipped it,
I don't blame you. I
you,
honestly don't
you
blame
could definitely just skip it because there's no overarching plot line to anything going on in the Asuna storyline or anything. It's just kind of something to lighten the mood after the Dark Death Gun arc. That's really what it is. And then it's going to take you back into another dark, well, not dark arc, but really sad arc, if you ask me. Um, but yeah, if you're watching SAO for the first time and you're wondering, should I watch this arc? Honestly, just skip it if you have no time and you just
you.
get this
If you
over with.
watch it if you want, but I don't really find it that interesting. I find it kind of pointless.
Like the only interesting thing about it is the fact that Sinon's now in the fairy world and she's like a cat lady. And instead of using a gun in this, she uses a bow and arrow essentially.
What's
And,
your thoughts on it, by the way?
and that's essentially it. That's it. That's all I got to say. That was the only interesting thing to me. Now, if you're asking me which design I like more, do I like Gun Gale Online Sinon or Cat Sinon? I have to go with Gun Gale Online Sinon. She looks cuter.
I know it.
Plus, I'm not a fan of cats. So, anyways, to get to the closeout of the video, the back half of the season is really
It's called the Zekken arc, if I'm not mistaken.
the second arc, Yugi arc, that stuff. And essentially, it's just an Asuna focused arc, which, I guess is needed because really we only got Kirito so far, and we got barely any of what the other characters were doing. And we get an Asuna arc. So we later find out in this arc, there's like this really big player called Zekken. The first thing first, actually, when I was first watching this, at first I thought they called the character Second. But when I saw the one episode title called Zekin, I was like, oh, Zekin, not Second. I know, Denzel, you know.
Cameron.
And if you're wondering, like, wait, shouldn't they have it in subtitles? I watched the English dub. So
I watched it all in English dub up to season 3. I have not watched the English dub of season 3. So go on.
So yeah, so we find out that Zekin is like a player that is really good with swords, and there's rumors going on about her having a 12-hit combo, no, 11-hit combo, and stuff like that. Liz tells that to Asuna and stuff like that, and they say like, oh, we lost, Lifa lost, even Kirito lost to this, person, stuff like that. And
Although Liz did explain to Asuna that Kirito wasn't using 2 swords against Zekken at that time.
He wasn't using 2 swords. Second, so Liz says you should take him on. So now we later find out that Zekken is actually a girl. I did find it funny when we all find out she's actually revealed to be a girl. Here, Asuna goes over to Kirito. She's like, or first things first, Asuna's like, Liz, you didn't tell me she's a girl. And Liz is like, well, I thought I did tell you that. Well, I guess I didn't then. And then she goes over to Kirito, which I was dying out loud. And she's like, oh, now I know why you held back against her. And he's like, I didn't do that because what you think I did. And I'm like, hey, I guess I can understand. That is her boyfriend. It makes sense. I guess if I was a girl, it makes sense why. Well, she's a girl and she's a cute girl, so it makes sense why you would do that. But I just found that funny. I found that hilarious how she's like, now I know why you held back. And he's like, no, I went all out.
Stare.
Also, I don't even mention in the new outline mode, Asuna, instead of having her orange hair, she has blue hair in this.
Oh yeah, we should have already figured that out by the end of season 1.
Oh yeah, I think I forgot to mention that in the end of the season 1 review, but that's also an interesting thing. I like the blue hair. Now, not as good as the orange haired Asuna, but what?
Yeah, I take orange haired Asuna any day.
But I'll do with the blue. Hopefully she's not, well, actually to the point, she felt blue by the end of this arc until everything that happened.
No pun intended, please. Okay, and let's talk about the fight between Asuna and Yuki.
That was a pretty badass fight.
Yeah, that was really good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was up to that point. I was praying to finally see Asuna like have another moment to shine, and I got it. So.
Yeah, and at first she kind of like stutters and she's kind of just like, just shocked, and she just looks at Kirito and then she gets serious and stuff like that, and then it gets to the surprise of Yuki, and the time runs out, I believe, to the point she almost got her, or did she Asuna lose?
Asuna lost, but Yuki kind of like I think she was holding back the 12-hit combo.
And yeah, so Yuki actually takes Asuna, just takes no explanation, takes her, and we find out Yuki has her own little party with a bunch of her friends, and essentially they want to fulfill this dungeon and get their nameplates on this, like you could say, wall of fame, essentially, for the game, for this dungeon. And essentially what happens is Asuna, assists them to beat the dungeon. They end up beating the dungeon and stuff like that. Now, in the real world, with what's going on with Asuna, and if you didn't watch the season 1 review, go check that out. But I do make a few hints here and there how Asuna has an issue with her mom. The thing is, in the real life, is her mom essentially wants to pull the whole thing. It's a reused plot line we've seen in many, not only anime, but shows in general, where this one character, or like say whether it's the love interest or the main character, is a part of a rich family, and the rich mom and dad have this design set plan for that character. You're going to be like us. You're going to do this. You're going to go to this college. You're going to fulfill this. You're going to marry this person. And that's what the mom had this whole thing set up, because she was like, no, you're not going to that school, which, why would you just, I don't know why she would not let her stop without trying to make her, because she has to go to this school for a good reason. For the SAO players who are young and missed out on 2 years, the mom was saying like, you missed out on 2 years. You need to get caught up in everything. I'm like, this is her way of catching up. What? So yeah, and then Asuna went to like some, I guess, thing with her parents, and essentially, I guess she was talking to some boy who the mom wants to plan, who she wants her Asuna to plan on marrying, even though, again, like I mentioned in my season 1 review, wait a second, Kirito actually saved your daughter from a deranged maniac from that. Even though the funny thing is, the mom said, "Don't even mention Sugo. Your dad shows him." I'm like, well, then
Why?
why would you choose another guy for her? And even the mom says, that boy, you're with all the time. He's nothing. He's beneath you, which was kind of pretty hurtful. I was like, wow, you totally don't care about her feelings at all. And essentially, also obviously Asuna is having issues with her mom and stuff like that, and she can't understand why her mom treats her the way she does, to the point her mom's like, listen, you're going to be signing these transfer papers here by this time, and you're going to transfer to this school, and you're going to go to a good college, and you're going to live out your life the way I want you to live your life out, and stuff like that.
How cool.
Now, Yuki actually helps Asuna, because there's a part in this arc where she's like, you got to fight for what you believe in, essentially. And that kind of makes Asuna wake up to the fact that, what, she has to fight against her mom, even though not physically, just has to really express her feelings to her mom. And we get a pretty emotional scene between her and her mom, where she goes into her mom's, room, or her little work area, and she's like, listen, for the first time, mom, understand where I'm coming from. Go to the virtual world with me and I can tell you. So the mom reluctantly goes to the virtual world with Asuna, using her other profile.
What's your opinion on what's your opinion on her ALO design, by the way? Her mom.
The other Asuna one?
Yeah, ALO, yeah, that green one that her mom is using.
It's definitely a good-looking character. Will I say it makes the mom more hotter in game? Yes.
Go on.
But then again, what can I say? They did earlier in the season hint that she has 2 different profiles for Asuna, but so they have this emotional talk where where they go back and talk about the past, how Asuna was talking to, I guess, her late grandpa and her grandma, and how the grandpa was telling her the stories about her mom, and how proud the mom was, and the fact that if the mom needs anywhere to go to, she can always go back to their house. And that hit home with the mom and stuff like that, and it made her tear up, and I was like, so it made the mom I guess understand where Asuna was coming from, and makes her understand. And then the following day, the mom's like, listen, okay, you can go to the school and you can stay there. You don't have to transfer. But you have to promise me these things. One, you have to get better grades this upcoming trimester than you did the past trimester. You got to go to college, a good college, and then you got to go get a good job, essentially. He's like, just do that and we're cool. And, that's how the relationship, it was a nice thing. It was a nice thing, because the most part is, we see in current shows where, they do this plot and the character actually doesn't end up making up with the parents. They just go their own separate ways, and they just don't even hear their parents out. Like, for example, now I can talk about this. For One Piece, the Sanji stuff. Um, he ain't gonna like his parents, even if you say his dad were to assist him or ask him for help. He ain't gonna do that, but you know, that it's something like that. It's something like that. But this SAO, they take it different. They have the mom understand the character Asuna's feelings, and instead of the mom just reluctantly saying, "No, I don't care what you say," because I actually thought they were gonna go that route.
You know, that got me thinking. Maybe that is the reason why SEO got so much hate, because people actually enjoy that kind of drama. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Who
That's just a thought.
Who knows? But I was glad they didn't go that route where after they come out and the next day the mom's like, I don't care what you tried to tell me yesterday. You're still going to do it. I've been like, really? At that point, I've been Austin to just run away, bro. You have no point anymore. Um, and then luckily the mom is able to understand her and stuff like that. And yeah. So cutting back to the Yuki Asuna storyline, you later find out after they complete the quest, and it was all thanks they were able to get in, to the dungeon thanks to Kirito and Klein and the others, because they were essentially like spied on, and this other guild party was not letting them through.
That actually happened. I think that actually happened before the
Oh yeah,
with her mom. But yeah, let's talk about that.
but that's when it comes to the part where after they fulfill the thing. And the interesting thing is Yuki calls Asuna sis, which catches Asuna's eye by surprise. So there's a part where they have this big party at the house and stuff like that. I did like the little note Kirito left saying, "Good job on completing the dungeon," and stuff like that. That was cute. And they have a whole little talk, and Asuna wants to join their party full time essentially, and that kind of makes Yuki get a little upset, and she backs out and she disconnects. So Asuna for like 3 days is trying to look for Yuki, and thanks to her good boyfriend Kirito, man. If anything, if you're a girl, you got to find a guy as loyal as Kirito. He helped her in this thing. So we later find.
I'll never understand why there are some of those people who actually hate Kirito just for how he is.
Yeah.
I'll never understand it.
We later find out that Yuki is actually in the hospital, and she's like you could say on life support essentially, because her family I guess has a passing down of AIDS essentially, and sad. It's a very sad story. It's like I guess she was getting a blood transfusion essentially, and there was blood that was contaminated with HIV and all that stuff in it, and it got into her blood, and it essentially became a genetic thing that passed down to her family, and her mom died from it, I believe, and her
Her
sister,
sister, yeah, her
older
sister.
sister died from it, and that's the reason why she calls Asuna her sis, because she sees Asuna like her sister. It reminds her of her sister. Even she's like, you smell like my sister and you act like her too, which I found kind of sketchy, but okay. Um, it was really emotional because you see her hooked up to like this freaking machine, which AKA is something that is later brought back in season 3, um, especially if you know what's going on in season 3. Especially and it's just a really sad thing, it's just really sad, and she has like a short span to live, and that's the reason why she planned on disbanding the group. And the thing is, once she dies, the group of her little party would be no more essentially, because she would have passed away. um there was this one cool episode where because Kirito actually did this with Yui, where like there's this little cam on their shoulder which they can make the in-game people see what they're actually doing. That's how Yui's able to see what's in the real world. That's the closest they can get to Yui in the real world. Well, I think they will expand on that where they'll actually somehow bring Yui into the real world as a physical person. Yes, I really believe somewhere in the near future they're going to do that.
There is the movie if you remember. So
Well, yeah, that too. And Kirito kind of does the same thing for Yuki, and Asuna and Yuki spend the day at school because that's the one thing Yuki, wanted to do in her last few days. And then, the last episode, we get this very emotional, death scene with Yuki where everybody we've come across, not everybody, but most people we saw from season 1 of the second half of the season, all go there to pay their respects to Yuki when she passes away. And that was pretty emotional. Like everybody was there and they gave their respects. And and then that's when Yuki actually gets Asuna the 12-hit combo as a way to say thank you for everything.
that got me thinking. Does now that she got the 11 hit combo, does that make her the strongest swordsman around?
At this point, who knows? Who knows? We haven't seen an Asuna and Kirito battle.
That's true. Would they battle each other?
Unless provoked, unless they go the Fairy Tail Juvia Gray route.
Please no.
We all remember what happened in there. They actually ended up hurting themselves. Oh, spoilers for Fairy Tail.
Well done. You spoiled it. Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, and then that's where the season ends off, really, and that's it. That's two in a nutshell. I don't remember. They do have a post-credit scene, resulting in the fact about what was the post-credit scene again? It was about a augmented reality or something like that.
I forgot the guy's name, actually.
All I know is there's like something about AR from what I remember, and it had something to do with Kayaba, which again, full circle, Kayaba's always has something involved in this storyline, regardless of the fact. That's why I still believe the government guy is in cahoots with anything. He's the main culprit for everything, which we'll talk about that in the next review, which is the Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale movie, which is canon.
It is canon. And anyone who says otherwise can
go away. Because they bring up that stuff they bring up some of that stuff in season 3. So yeah. But overall, my thoughts on season 2, I thought it was pretty good. I've heard some people are not fans of it, and even my 2 family members in my house who watch SAO say, and they didn't like season 2, but I enjoyed season 2.
I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. The back half, it isn't as good, but at the same time, the Yugi storyline kind of saves it a bit. I think if they had did those 2 filler episode arcs for the entire back half of the season, I think that would have definitely been a turnoff. That's just my opinion. Maybe you like those 2 filler episodes. It wasn't my cup of tea and stuff like that because I didn't really care. I was like, oh, it's interesting, but whatever. So yeah, but the Gun Gale Online, if you're asking me which arc was obviously the better arc in this half of the season, it was the Gun Gale arc. The Gun Gale Online arc was definitely the best half of the season. Even though, the former main characters aren't in it as much as they were in the past 2 arcs of season 1. It is still a good season just from the storytelling alone. It was just great. And then, the back half, it was still good in its own way. The Yuki Asuna thing was really good because it was really like a big sister, younger sister type of relationship. And it was heartfelt. So yeah. But overall in that, I agree with Denzel. I give season 2 a 7 out of 10. Just 1 point below season 1, but it's nevertheless, it's still good. I'm not saying it's bad by anything. Again, there was some nitpicks, some critiques, some bad things here and there, but you know, we still liked it. And I know we don't talk about the bad things, but we just like to talk about all the things that, you know, make us excited and stuff like that. The only really bad thing we ripped apart was probably those 2 filler episodes, but yeah. But that's really it in terms of where we're at here. So yeah, so next time we'll be reviewing Sword Art Online, the movie Ordinal Scale, which I saw yesterday. Well, as of the time I'm making this video, um, and I thought it was a pretty good movie, which has some implications going into season 3. Now, if you're also asking how are you going to handle season 3 reviews, I think I'm going to review the first part, and then I'll see where we go then on later. So yeah, and also I just can't wait. Now, this video is going up next week, but I'm making this video literally the day after we made the season 1 video. But one, I'm just happy because now all my animes are coming back. Fire Force. Oh, thank goodness. One Piece comes out today. The return of One Piece. Thank God.
He's too excited, everybody. He's too excited.
You know, things are coming back. Things are coming back slowly but surely. Things are coming back. So yeah, and I cannot wait to review One Piece later tonight. 7 o'clock cannot get here fast enough. So yeah. But other than that, guys, we're gonna get out of here. If you like the video, leave a like. If there's a comment you want to put regarding your thoughts on season 2, leave that in the comment section. And then 2, hit that subscribe button, not only for this channel, but the Red Wolf's channel as well. So yeah, so this is Cam for 15.
And the Red Wolf here.
We are signing out. Hopefully you guys are staying safe. And yeah, so till then, guys, we're going to get out of here. And we'll see you guys on the next SAO review for Ordinal Scale. Catch you guys later. Peace.